welcome to Energising Life with AKR Fitness. This is episode 39. My name is Mike, and for the first time in the podcast, we have Coach Zatto with us. Hi, Zatto.
Hello.
How are you feeling about your podcast debut?
Very nervous, but excited as well.
Good. And today we also have a very special guest, another AKR reacher. We have Stevie with us. Hi, Stevie.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Pleasure's ours. So, just want to go through your story. And so coming in, you joined AKR in September 2019.
Wow.
More than 2 years ago now.
Yeah, just after summer.
Although whether the COVID years actually count as full years, I'm not sure. But take us back to 2019. Where were you at with health and fitness and life, and why did you come here?
Well, I think it was in summer 2019, I started getting a little bit into fitness. But in a lockdown. I remember I was on furlough from work, and I started doing 30-minute workout videos on YouTube. Now, I've tried everything. When I say try, I mean I gave it some sort of effort, but I never really stuck to anything. And I started doing the 30-minute workouts on YouTube, and I started noticing a little bit of difference, just like a bit of weight loss. And people started saying like, oh, you look like you're losing a bit of weight. But I was on furlough at the time, I wasn't working. And then I reached out to a good friend of mine, Erin Thompson, and she's an online coach. And she said, look, I'll coach you a bit and get your food right and get your nutrition right and get you working out and stuff. But I was doing it and I was doing really well, but I was failing in the working out. Like I wasn't going to the gym because I find them really intimidating. And then it's when I reached out to Lindsay here at AKR, and she says, come along and see what we can do for you. And that's been it ever since. I've been hooked.
Cool. So tell us a little bit more about, obviously, so you've been friends with Lindsay from before AKR. Tell us a little bit about your background and who you are.
So I'm 30 next week, funnily enough.
30. Clinging on the 20s there.
Clinging on a wee bit. I'm 30 next week. I'm an electrician. Or a bright spark, as I say. And yeah, I've known Lindsay from AKR. I don't even know how long, actually. I can't even remember where we'd met, if I'm honest. It's just one of those we
probably don't need to know, do we?
A whirlwind.
It's a good thing you just pick up somewhere. So, known her a good while, and she says, come along to here, and that was it, really. I've been here ever since.
And so what was it that made you said like during that lockdown, you started beginning to get a little bit into fitness. Was that your first foray into the world of health and fitness? What had you done before?
I think it was the first time I'd really consistently went and done it. I'd tried every gym in Aberdeen. I've probably been a member to every gym in Aberdeen, just bar a few. So I spent a lot of money over the years on gym memberships, and I can probably count my hands the amount of time I went. So I was really bad for doing that, but I think it made me feel a bit better knowing I had a membership. You know what I mean? Even if I wasn't going, even having a membership, it felt a bit better. And I've always struggled with my weight, but I think it's lack of knowledge. Now I understand why I was on weight. It's all nutrition and how you're working out, and the nutrition bit's so important, and what you're intaking. I didn't really realise that, it's weird. You can eat takeaway after takeaway and just go, goodness, I'm hardly eating. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I'm getting fatter and fatter. I just don't know. But it's obviously things that you're doing. And I've lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Well, let me jump in, take you back. You said you've always struggled with your weight.
Yeah.
Are we talking like people say, I've always wanted to do this, and they don't really mean always. They mean the last couple of years. But are we talking right from childhood, being at school, things like that?
No, probably. I was actually not bad at school. I wasn't that fat, I'd say. And I worked out quite a bit. Actually, was part of the rugby club in school, and I just naturally did some sport things, but not a lot. And I think it was when I was older, as I got older. Do you know what it was? It was my mum had she was a single parent, and she didn't have a lot of money, and she didn't work. So I think when we ate, she was in control of all of that. She was in control of how we ate. We knew when supper time was, and when lunchtime was, and whatever else. And we ate what she put on the table. And then my mum passed away, and my dad moved in to look after us. And it was like a free for all, because my dad like worked and had some money and stuff, and the fridge was always full of cash. Full of
What was it? Food. What was it your dad did for a job?
I'm good. No, the fridge was always full of food. So I just helped yourself, and then that's where it got out of control.
Yeah.
My eating got out of control because I was just eating constantly, and nobody would say no. So my dad would never be like, no. But if I wanted anything, when mum was here, it was like, can I get a packet of crisps? No. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know, it's interesting. Like, I can relate to a similar, obviously not with the parents passing away and things like that, but the food in my house was, I don't know if it felt like if we were having like a pudding, it'd be like, me and my brother would be like, what's for pudding? My mum would say fruit or yogurt.
Yeah. So
kind of like she would have been trying to have us eat healthy. Mm-hmm. But then when we went to secondary school, in my experience, like I, own dinner money.
Yeah.
Be buying like a pie and chips or going to the chipper and things like that. It's just, once you've got your own freedom, it's natural to rebel against that.
I think it's
lack of freedom.
It's where the control is, isn't it? Your parents have got the control over what you eat most of your life. So I think that's important. That first initial part of your life is important for learning like discipline with nutrition, I suppose, because they control that. And I imagine you see fatter kids, and it's because they're getting fed absolute rubbish, and there's no control there. So I suppose that's where it's important you get that instilled in you when you're younger, and then that stays with you maybe as you get older.
Yeah. Not being a parent, I mean, it must be very difficult to strike that balance of wanting to give your child healthy food.
Yeah. And I want to keep them happy with sweets and stuff.
Yeah, but obviously not giving them that sort of slightly borderline disordered thing where the minute they're out of your watch, they're stuff in the face. Maybe Zatto, have you got being a parent, you got anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think it's strange because it's almost like normally in the family dynamic, it is the dad that's more mischievous one. Like, I don't know why
he's the good one.
that always happens. Like,
mum says no, so I'll go and ask dad.
Like you're having fruit, and then the dad will be like, "Oh, it's okay, I'll give you a sweet later on." Don't
yeah,
like,
that's it.
It's all the sneaking around.
Keep them sweet.
Yeah.
So when you're living with your dad, the fridge was always full of food, and that's like, is that when you started to have problems with your weight?
I'd say that's probably where it started. Just getting out of control, the eating. That's probably definitely when it started.
And what sort of age would that have been?
I think it was 12, probably 12, 13.
And so when did you said like, I've joined all the gyms and things like that, but when did you first think, I want to try and address this?
Oh, it's so weird because I've always had that thought. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like I've constantly had the thought of wanting to lose weight. It feels like a thought's never left me since I was younger. It's like, it's always tomorrow. It's always tomorrow. I'll go for a run tomorrow. I'll start the thing tomorrow.
And why do you think that
it never
was?
I don't know, because I think it's just easier to sit and eat pizza. Do you know what I mean? Than to go out and work hard. And it is hard. It's not easy just come at the gym every day, and you have to be committed and you have to want the change. But once you get into it and you see the impact that it has on you as a person, it's easier to carry on going and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because obviously you feel the benefits of it.
Yeah.
It's initial start that's really difficult.
Yeah. So I want to get to the the benefits and the changes and things like that. I wanted to spend a little bit more time in this. So you're struggling with weight from age 12. You feel like you've always wanted to lose weight, but it was just easier not to, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
There's come a point though where for the first time you thought, no, I am going to take action. I'm going to join a gym.
I think it was the furlough because I had the time. There was no excuses. I was sitting in my house.
But the years prior to that, so that the furlough's 2020. So there's a lot of years prior to that where you've wanted to lose weight and where you have actually joined gyms. Yeah. Can you take us back to those and what your mindset was like and
it's normally January, is it? So the new year comes and you're like, new year, new me, and all this. And then I signed up to gyms and I'd go like once. I'd do the induction, go once, and then I could never spur myself on to go again. So I just lost it. Every time.
So
Never committed.
again, just so why do you think that was? So like new year, new me, you obviously have a level of motivation or desire. You've always wanted to lose weight. You join the gym.
Yeah. It's discipline, isn't it?
Is it
I
discipline?
don't think I was disciplined enough. I don't think I personally would have wanted it that bad.
So you've gone and done the induction.
Yeah.
At that point, coming home from the induction, I know we're kind of going back years or whatever, but do you think you still had that sense of, yes, I'm going to do this? Or like, where did it run out of steam so early in the journey?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't understand why I just didn't have the motivation to do it. Like I'd go, like I say, I'd do the induction and then the motivation would just run out. I think
At the induction.
it's probably fear, I'd maybe say, because I find gyms very intimidating. I find just having to go and standing there in a gym and making my own decisions and knowing what I'm doing a very scary thing. So it's easier just to not do it. Do you know what I mean? Instead of being there scared, it's easier to bite at home and not do it.
So do you think the induction in many ways is the easy part because you've made an appointment with someone?
They're there telling you what to do.
You go through, you're guided through this, and then the next day you're cut loose on your own, and that's an obstacle for you to go step in again.
I think it's intimidation, isn't it? And you see all the good gym goers in the gym and they're all like buff and everyone's looking fit, and you're like, fast lob, and you're like, what am I doing here? It's a very intimidating experience.
Yeah.
And so I found it very difficult just to be there, commit. And you even have like thoughts of like people are looking at you. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's unreal. It's not right, but it's just, you were only human, and that's sort of things you experience. And a lot of people probably experience the same thing in a gym, and that's why they find it intimidating. You're looking around and you think, are people looking at me? And it's not nice. I didn't like the whole gym thing. I found it very difficult. That's why I failed.
That's what you said there is exactly why AKR exists, though, because the environments I felt were too difficult for many people, for the people who didn't see themselves as fitness people. Give us an idea then, how many times might that cycle, but that sort of happen where you've thought, do you know what, I'm going to join a gym, and then it falls away before it starts?
Oh God. So I've did pretty much all the gyms, I think. I think the only ones I haven't done is like Warehouse gym. I think it's the only gym in Aberdeen I've maybe not been a member. So we're going back, like since I was 16, I was able to get a gym membership. I've just every year I just went to another one.
And did you ever get beyond the induction and get a few sessions and get a wee run of it?
No. God, think of the cash. Think of the amount of money I've spent. It's scary, actually.
How long before you would cancel the membership? Or are you tied in for a year? Or
I had a membership to Nuffield Health and Wellbeing. It's on just small lane, as you know. And I think my gym membership was something really ridiculous. And I had a membership there for like 3-4 years, and I'm not joking you. And I only went about 3 times. Thousands of pounds we're talking. I was like, and it wasn't until I was actually sat down with one of my mates, and he said, he says, have you got a gym membership? Yeah. And we talked about it, and he went, God, get that instantly deleted, direct debit. So I deleted it like there and then. And I just sat and thought about the money I've spent on that. It was ridiculous. And I hadn't even been. It was like annoyed at myself. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't even made any sort of effort to go or utilised what they offer there. So it was not great.
And so you touched on it earlier that there was a part of keeping the gym membership going because it felt good to have the gym membership. It sounds like there was an element there that you almost didn't, like you've kept that gym membership for so long, but you almost didn't want to confront the fact that you weren't. It's like it's almost confronting your own failure to some extent to attend. Yeah,
totally. And I think when you can say to people, yeah, I've got a gym membership with so-and-so, and even though I've never been, just because I was like, yeah, of course I've got a gym membership,
like
and I feel
topic of conversation, isn't it? I've got a gym membership.
Because you've got the membership, you feel still good, but you're got the gym.
Yeah, it's a status symbol.
Pay every month. No, it's just making yourself feel better about the fact that you probably don't go and make any effort. Yeah. But you're just kidding yourself out, just lying to yourself, pretty much. Well, I was anyway.
Yeah. That's one element. Talked about the nutrition side then. Over that sort of similar period, let's say all the way up to that summer of lockdown. Tell us what things you've tried and what you've done on that side of it.
So my nutrition has always been terrible, right? And when I was younger, I used to be addicted to pizza. When I say addicted, I mean like I was having like Domino's every night, and it got.
Can I just jump in? Like,
Yeah.
what age are we talking?
Probably 19, 20, 21.
And literally every night.
Yeah. No, it must have been earlier than that because I was an apprentice, I think. Must have been, 18, 19. Actually, 18, 19. I was an apprentice at the time. And you don't get paid very well as an apprentice as it is. And I was like squandering lots of money on takeaways. And it was so bad when my finances, I sat down with my auntie and just were talking about my finances. And she's like, you need to get yourself sorted because you're in a bit of a pickle with finance and stuff. Yeah. So we went through all my statements one night. And I'd spent 700 quid on Domino's in 1 month.
Wow.
700 quid.
How did that?
And she phoned me. She was like, I've just been looking through your statements. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And that was it. I cut it out there. And then it was so bad, right? I swapped to Pizza Hut for a while. And then when I went back to Domino's, the delivery man come to my house and he says, is everything all right, Stevie? I'm not even joking you. He said, is everything all right, Stevie? I haven't seen you now. Haven't heard from you in a while. He says, is there any problems? We'll get you some vouchers or anything like that. And I locked the door. I went, oh my God, that's bad, is it? And I thought, I'm probably paying somebody's wages there.
It's like what the gambling companies do with the high value bettors. Here's free tickets to the football.
Honestly,
come be our guest. We
that's it.
spend more money.
Offering me vouchers and that at the door. I thought, right, this has got to stop.
And that sounds like that was an important moment. Was there a big realization there, or?
Well, the finance thing was probably it. I mean, realizing I'd spent that much money on pizza is just mental. So I stopped it there. But my eating has always just been pretty nonchalant. Just eat what I want when I want, sort of thing. Which is obviously not right. You've got to be disciplined with that if you want any success with weight loss and stuff, or feeling better. And I've just never had it.
Give us a little glimpse, if you can, into your sort of mental state and outlook at that time. Because in the time that I've known you, you seem generally like bright and upbeat and quite chirpy sort of thing. Yeah. Like, how were you? Was that the same then, or like?
No, not at all. I went through a really bad period in my life when I was like in my 18, 19, 20s, that sort of, where I got really depressed. And I had some really dark times, especially like one specific time was really bad. And I sort of decided that I wasn't going to feel like that anymore. And that's when I sort of went in the other direction. But I think all of that, I felt like that, a lot of it because my mum had passed away when I was 12. And I'm gay. And at the time I was in the closet. And I really struggled with that a lot. Mm-hmm. I've struggled with lying to people. I thought it was very, very difficult as a person.
Yeah.
And I found it very tough, just lying to people all the time,
Yeah.
And having to be somebody that you're not. And then I had like a really dark night one night when I was pissed pretty much. And I had really bad thoughts and things. And after that night, I went to stay with my cousin for a good while, and I decided then at that night I would never lie to anyone ever again. And then I went in the other direction. And now I try and keep myself chirpy and happy all the time, but I'm only human just like anybody else. So you do have your down days like anybody else, but I will never go back to where I was. Yeah. So I always try and correct it really quickly. If I try and pinpoint, if I feel a bit down or depressed or whatever, try and pinpoint what it is, sort it right away, and then just move on, start another day,
And in the context of nutrition, which we were talking about at the time, do you think, where does nutrition fit into that stuff? Do you think it was more like a cause or an effect?
Well, definitely, because I was eating, like a pig, and I was feeling like crap. So, and it's weird because I thought about it a lot recently, actually, because I had a Chinese last week, right? And I felt like death afterwards. And I actually felt a bit depressed, which is weird because I felt great. I was being eating healthy and then I treated myself to Chinese. And then the day after, I felt like down. I had like really not great thoughts and stuff and just feeling a little bit down in the dumps. And I thought, Christ, was that like Chinese that did that to me? And it made me think, because I generally eat quite healthy nowadays, as you know, and I thought that just eating that Chinese made me feel like shit. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, and I did think back to the time where I felt down in the dumps, and I thought maybe all that food I was eating had a lot to do with that, because like you say, you're an engine pretty much, aren't you? And what you get out from what you put in, it's just like a car. You wouldn't put absolute garbage diesel or petrol in your car, would you? Because your engine would just, it wouldn't cope.
Yeah.
And it's the same with us, I think. Like what you eat.
So I'm curious with that. Do you think though, like, cause you were struggling a little bit back then, that you were eating the pizzas and eating like that crap to help soothe the feelings that you were having?
Yeah, comfort eating.
Or is it the other way around? Or maybe the relationship isn't that straightforward. Do you know what I mean? Is it comfort eating to soothe you? Or are you feeling like crap because your diet's so poor?
It's a vicious.
It's
a
everything.
Circle.
Yeah,
a vicious cycle, because you're eating. You feel like crap because you're eating like crap, and then you go to comfort eat, and then you feel like crap again. Mm-hmm. It's like a vicious circle. So it's like a loop that you just can't get out of. And you do when you comfort eat. It's like
it almost reels you in, doesn't it? Like you get that good feeling for not that very long, and then you get that slump afterwards.
I'd rather be in a coma on the sofa filled with pizza. Do you know what I mean? You're like, yes, this is alive.
and deal with the consequences later.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah. And so we spoke that, like, so throughout this spell, several times you thought, you've always wanted to lose weight, and several times you thought, do you know what, I'm going to go join a gym. Mm-hmm. You do the induction, but it doesn't go any further.
Yeah.
Talk to me about nutrition side of it. I think you've tried a few diets along the way.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, like, is there times when you thought, do you know what, here I go, I'm going to do this diet, and that's my thing.
I've did loads of like different fads. Do you know, like these 14-day diets where you lose stupid amount of weight, and I'll just give you one instance of one I did. It's called the Cambridge diet, right? And it's like super low calories. You're like starving to death, pretty much. You're just absolutely starving. I think like 600 calories a day you're on, and you're just exhausted. You can't work out. There's no way you can work out because you don't have the energy. But you lose weight rapidly because obviously you've got a huge calorie deficit. But that doesn't work. That's not long term. That's not. But at the time, you go through these fads, and I did it, and I lost a lot of weight really quickly. But you could put it on. You could do that for a month, lose loads of weight, and put it on in a week if you just went back to the way I was eating.
Is that what happened? So you did the diet for a month. You lost, I would imagine, several kilograms weight. Once, did you feel like a success at that point? Feel like, wow, I've really done this?
Yeah, you do. It's a bit of a. Because you're losing weight, you think, yes, it's working for me, even though I feel like absolute death. This is great. Look at me. But you're like absolutely starving, and it doesn't work. And it's not cheap either. I mean, that was expensive because you buy these sachets of bolognese or whatever it is, and they're not cheap. So it costs an absolute arm and a leg to do. And it's just like, you really think about it, it's just crazy, actually.
How many years have we gone back for that?
For that one, I must have been in my 20s, I think. And a part of it, I'll tell you one good thing that came of that, though. There was one good thing that came from that fad, is part of it was drinking a lot of water. You had to make sure you're drinking lots and lots of water, which I did. And I now drink water all the time now, and I never used to before. And I dropped fizzy juice. I don't drink fizzy juice anymore at all. And it was after that, because after I did that, nothing quenched my thirst like water. Mm-hmm. And now I don't drink fizzy juice at all. I just don't like it. But that came from that. So, I mean, it's a really small silver lining, but from a really big cloud.
And well, in this season of the podcast, we're talking a little bit about, like the wacky things that people get into and the misinformation and why people do things. Can you think back to what your thought process was, if there was one, what appealed to you, what grabbed at you for that particular diet?
Because you just try anything really. You think, God, I'll try anything to lose a couple of pounds here because that's all you really want.
Let me jump in here,
Yeah.
right? Because you're going from, let's say you're going from eating pizza every night to eating 600 calories a day. Is there no point in your head where you think, well, hold on, it doesn't need to be pizza or 600.
Yeah.
Had you tried, do you know what, I might just cut down the pizza to once every other day, add some vegetables?
No, because I think a lot of this is miseducation as well. Not miseducation, uneducation. So like, I was not educated. I didn't really know. So I couldn't make those decisions because I didn't really know. I didn't have the knowledge about nutrition.
Were you almost attracted to the like quick fix?
Yeah, that's it. Because you just look, somebody, I probably found it on social media or something, like somebody advertising it because they got these reps that sell these sachets and get you in and you weigh every week or whatever. But I probably got sucked in with that. Now, because it's not something I had knowledge about. And obviously I would now and I would think, oh God, that's ridiculous. How on earth is anybody doing that? But yeah, I think I got sucked in and I didn't have the knowledge at the time to really find that in between.
Yeah.
To go from the pizza to the 600 calorie diet. I didn't really think, oh, well, meal prep, chicken, vegetables. I didn't have the knowledge.
Yeah, it sounds like what you didn't do was say, right, I want to lose weight. What would be an effective way for me to do this?
Yeah.
What more likely has happened is you've either gone, I want to lose weight, therefore I need a diet, and I pick a diet.
Yeah.
Or that diet came on your radar and you're like, ooh, that might help me lose weight. That might be my answer. And so you go down that path. Would it be in the ballpark there?
Yeah, totally.
And so you get that momentum, you sign up, you commit to it, you pay the money, you get the sachets, you lose the weight. Had you thought at any stage what you were going to do after it? Or like talk to us at the point where you come off the diet. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't even think that's a thought really at the time. And you know something, it's so weird because I remember doing the diet and she's like, no, you can't be exercising on this diet. You just don't have any energy. And now thinking back to that, if somebody's telling you can't exercise on a diet, it's not right. There's something wrong there, isn't there? She's like, oh no, don't be exercising because you could possibly pass out. You know what I mean? Now thinking, and I'm like, yeah, no problem, I won't be working out, don't worry about that. And now thinking back, I'm like, whoa.
It's probably sold as a selling point for the diet.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what it felt like. But I didn't see an end point. I was just going for it.
Just try and lose weight.
Yeah.
And then so was there a point in the diet where you thought, okay, I'm finished this diet, I'm now going to go eat normal again?
Yeah.
Or was it more like complacency drips in because you're like, I'm losing weight, I can begin to eat again? Or
I think it was 1 month because I'm sure I was still an apprentice at the time. I think it was 1 month I couldn't afford it. So I stopped doing it and I walked right back to where I was. Just like that. Learned nothing. Drink a lot of water though. So I learned that, but I went right back to the way it was.
Was that a turning point for you when you specifically did that one? Was that just, I'm never doing any of these again, or did you continue on after that?
No, because in my mind I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But I just didn't afford it that week, so I didn't that month. So I didn't do it, and then I just gave up. So yeah.
And so had you considered returning to it?
I think so. I think at the time I did. It's hard to remember back, but I think at the time I was like, yeah, at least you go do that again. But I'd never do something like that now, obviously, because it's not the way.
It's interesting. Like that's the issue I sometimes have with diets is where it's like, well, yes, you can lose weight for a period of time, but did you change, or did you learn, or did you bring something forward with you to improve things so that 5 years from now you're better? Like, what's the point in losing 10 kilos in 2 weeks if 3 months later
it's going to be
you're back to where you were?
There is no point. I think it's a shame that people feel that they have to do these diets, and I think it is no education in the matters, and people feel like that is the right thing to do. I see people in my workplace doing like strange diets like Herbalife and stuff like that, and I feel sorry for them. I really do. And I just try and tell them, just eat healthy and exercise. Honestly, that's how I've done it. So just, and I always promote you guys because I think it's brilliant here. It works, and it's just brilliant coming in. It's it's just such a contrast to how I felt in a gym, like a commercial gym, you know.
So it's interesting that you said, I think it's a shame how people feel like they have to do these diets. Why do you think that people feel like they have to do them?
Because the contrast is, the alternative is going into a gym and feeling the way I did. Do you know what I mean? So I think they feel like that's the only option. Like I sort of did, because that's what I felt.
So, like we were talking about logical biases and fallacies a few episodes back, and one of them is what's called a false dichotomy.
Okay.
The idea that there's only two choices. And it sounds like the only choice is be overweight or do the diet, or go into an intimidating gym or do the diet. Do you think people literally do not see a more moderate, a more like just try and eat vegetables and move a bit more and eat a bit more sensible? Do you think that approach is invisible, or do you think people don't believe it?
No, because I think everyone thinks everything has to happen in a week. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I'm losing weight, I need to be where I am in a month. And that's miseducation, because it takes a lot longer than that to progress, but it's all small steps at a time, changing little bits, and that's progress.
So people don't consider that approach because they think it's going to take too long, and they maybe will say, listen, I know what I'm going to do is a little bit radical, but I just need to get results fast, and then I'll solve the other stuff further down the line.
I don't think people realise how long it takes, because it takes a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put it on way quick, but see, coming off takes forever. But it's a journey, isn't it? And it's like you'll have to learn. You know, you don't get degrees in a week. Do you know what I mean? It takes time to educate yourself and do the course, and then you're different at the end. It's the same with exercise. It's like, and you've just got to slowly go at it, change little things at a time. People try and do two things too fast, change too much too quickly, and that's when it all fails. And people that are like, oh, I've got a wedding next week, so I'm only eating soup today. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've got a wedding next week, so I'm only eating soup all week. You're like,
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think everybody's lives are just so overwhelmed. And they're just like, I'm going to do this diet because I'm going on holiday, I'm getting married, I'm going to do this. And they almost don't want to do that year's journey. Like, or,
So you think Zatto, that they're so busy living their life that then they're caught off guard by the wedding that comes up, and then they think, crap, I need to do something drastic here.
You had time to prepare. You knew about it. You knew about it a long time ago. What you eating soup in the last week for? You were eating Monster Munch crisps yesterday. Do you know what I mean? It's
holidays, It's funny. There's a sort of financial health guy on the internet, and he often says Christmas is not an emergency. you know it's coming.
I know.
You plan for that. Zatto, anything you want to add before we move on?
I think I just wanted to ask, do you think sort of social media has a lot to do in the market being saturated with all these diets has had a big effect on...
Social media is like, there's nothing social about it. It's like unreal expectations of how people are meant to be is what's come from social media, from influencers and stuff like that. You're bombarded constantly with data. As soon as you wake up, you're scrolling. So you go to bed, you're scrolling. It's like your brain is just absolutely bombarded with all this information. I don't know how people cope, I'm honest.
Yeah.
It probably reinforces this what you're saying about fast results and needing to look a certain way and things. It's not a place for patience, is it?
No, so it's very difficult because you got all these expectations that you think you're supposed to look like and what normal people look like. And it's not true. Do you know what I mean? They're on there with their million likes or whatever for a reason. It's because they look like that. You know what I mean? Not everyone looks like that. So that obviously doesn't help people because they feel that they feel that the pressure's there to look like that or to be a certain way. It's not real.
I feel like we've got a decent background of the diet and the always wanting to lose weight but feeling stuck and trying wacky diets and sign up for gyms but not getting anywhere. Let's go back to where we started, which was you signed up with your friend, you started working in nutrition, you spoke to Lindsay. At that point there, before you've actually joined AKR, what was different?
What was different for me before I joined?
At that point, I think you'd said you'd never really taken it seriously.
Okay,
But in that summer, you've kind of reached out to your friend.
Yeah.
You've started chatting to Lindsay. Like, what was different at that moment compared to previous attempts?
Now, when I approached my friend Erin, right, and she was doing the nutrition and stuff for me, I was starting to fail again because I told you I couldn't go to the gym. So that was a big part of the whole plan. She's like, you need to go to the gym. And I wasn't going. So I said to her, look, I can't go. I'm just not going to the gym. And I said, I just couldn't do it. And it was when Lindsay had approached me. So I was actually back to failing again. Like I wasn't on a stream of success at this point. I was going back to the way I was failing. But it wasn't until I came here and I realized, oh my God, I actually like this.
So just to like get this right, understand this well, when you reached out to your friend, was it just the fact that she was a nutritionist and you knew that you'd already tried a number of diets that got you nowhere? Like, so did you reach out to her because by then you were already looking for a more grounded approach?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know what was different about that specific point than maybe what has before. Because like I said, I constantly went through this cycle of failing and then trying again. And I don't know, maybe that was just another one of them.
Just another attempt.
Yeah, I don't know if anything was different at that point. But
I think what sounds like was different though, rather than just a diet, your friend had said,
yeah,
actually, let's get involved in exercise.
Yeah.
And even though you tried lots of gyms before, this time what was different is Lindsay said, okay, come see us.
That's it. And she was fantastic, by the way, my friend. She was like so good. And I was succeeding a little bit, but nowhere near at the pace I really should have been for the time frame I was doing the thing. Because I wasn't going to the gym.
And so the diet, I'm assuming the diet that your friend's given you by this time is a lot more measured.
Yeah, it was good food. Yeah. I was cooking my meals, prepping, good nutritional food, and I was doing pretty well, but just very slowly. And then obviously Lindsay says, look, I've told you about ACAR before. Just come. Just give it a bash. Just come. And then I came here and that was really it. And I was like, I can do this. And I remember speaking to my friend Erin and I went, I found it. I found the place. I was like, I can do it now. Like I found a place where I can make a difference myself and I can do the exercise. I found it. So I was so happy about that.
Having been having negative experiences with gyms before, how did you feel? It sounds like Lindsay might have been in your ear for a while. Like how did you feel coming down? Were you intimidated to first come in here, or knowing her? Did that change things for you?
I was carking myself.
Right.
I was, because I just thought it was going to be another gym. You know what I mean? I didn't know what to really expect. Lindsay, I obviously knew Lindsay worked here. I didn't really know what it was though. And I remember the first day, I think I came down with another member. And after the first day, I was like, this is good.
Yeah. What was it? What was it then? That first
I think it's because
day?
you knew my name when I walked through the door. Do you know what I mean? When I walked through the door, I was like, hey, Stevie, how's it going? I thought, it's different. Don't get that pure gym. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, that's nice. I thought, it's really nice. And then I just felt like we were all friends. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I was working out with my friends. And that sort of loneliness you feel in a commercial gym where you're going there, you're standing and you don't know what to do. Or I didn't feel that here. I felt like we were all working out together and we were all real people. I didn't see any six packs. Do you know what I mean? Might be hiding though, but you know what I mean? I didn't see any like big bulk. I just seen real people trying to get fit and healthy, and I really liked that. I didn't feel like anyone was staring at me, which you feel. Do you know what I mean? And I just, like I say, just felt like I was working at my friends, and I like that I like that feeling. Mm-hmm. And then you want to come back because you want to see your friends again. Do you know what I mean? So you just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like just that makes all the difference, you know.
It does.
When you go in the gym, people are maybe looking at you, maybe they're not, but everyone's strangers.
That's it.
And
they're
so
probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and most people have their own anxieties, right?
Everyone's just going around the gym like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but just when someone is no longer a stranger, everything changes for you.
Yeah, totally. It's that sort of friendly atmosphere and familiarity. Easy for me to say. That's what's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And just like you guys just coming in and speaking to you, and like you say, at the very, very, very start, you knew my name. And I think that's quite a big thing. You just don't experience that anywhere else.
And so bring us on from there then.
Yeah.
We've got a handle of your history of gyms and diet and nutrition and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened next? You come in, you start to enjoy it, you keep coming. Talk to us about like the journey since that point.
Journey has been amazing actually, because I think the 2 years, well, how long would it be? Would it be 2 years? That'd be right. Or was it a year and a half, something like that? You said September 2019.
Yeah, so there's part of a lockdown in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been probably the best period of my life, I think, since finding this place and like going on this journey and eating properly. And people say to me all the time, you look so different to what you used to look like. And I see it. See, when I see pictures on social media of like back in my face is just like humongous. I'm like, wow, I just notice it. Do you know what I mean? I think when you start noticing yourself, that's when you're like, this is good. So yeah, I'm so conscious about what I eat now. Not in a bad way, in a great way. I'm always looking at what's inside, the ingredients, the nutritional value. And I'm very wary about eating things like takeaways and that now. I do once in a while, but like I say, I notice a huge difference in how I feel with them. I don't think they're that great, you know. So that's great.
You didn't. This is something I think within health and fitness. Like when you feel great,
yeah.
When you don't feel great, when you're in a rut, you forget how good feeling fit and healthy feels.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're in that stage when you're just eating pizza and stuff, it's almost like you can't relate to what it feels like when you get back on track.
And the weird thing is you forget it very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes I miss. I try and come like 4 or 5 times a week to here. But sometimes I'll miss like 3 days in a row because of work or something like that. And I start feeling a bit rubbish. And then I don't even blame in the non-exercise. Like I don't even recognize it's not because I'm not exercising. And then I come back, the one day that I come back, I'm like, whoa, that was it. You know what I mean? I'm back. And you feel fantastic again. You're like, right, that's why I was feeling like that.
Yeah.
Can you describe that feeling?
It's like you just go from here to here. Do you know what I mean? And see, it's strange because, like in terms of eating and stuff. Remember I was saying I had the Chinese. When you're up here and you just come back down a little bit, it feels like a huge jump. But I was still way higher than what I was before I started all this.
When you're saying about these levels up here, down here, what is that? Is that mental outlook? Is it physical energy? Can you?
I don't really know. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
But it's just visual in my mind what this is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
just a feeling.
vitality.
It's an all-round feeling.
Yeah.
You're like up here, and then some days you're down here, but then you quickly get back up. I say when you're drinking alcohol, right? For instance, when you take a long gap off of drinking, I think you get up here, just mentally. And people that drink every single weekend, I don't think ever reach up here. So what happens is you drink, depressing, weekend comes, you feel down the Sunday, and then you'll slowly climb back up to the midway. Friday, you're back here, and then you do it again, drink here. But when you don't drink, I think it goes all the way up, and all the way up. And you just come accustomed to just being in this wavelength in the middle. And that becomes your norm.
A bit of average doldrums, little
Just
highs and lows.
Getting through life.
And what you're saying is when you take a bit more care around your health and nutrition, there's higher places to go with how you feel.
Yeah. I always think take a good gap off drinking alcohol, and I think you reach higher places mentally. You do. It's got a strange effect, alcohol. It's weird that it's even legal, if I'm honest. So you think about it, because it's just literally legal poison, isn't it? And I'll tell you an instance I've seen on LinkedIn, actually, about a month ago. There was this guy, he was getting presented with something from his boss. And it was a bottle of whiskey. And I thought, God, how weird is that as a society that we praise people with poison? Because there's no two ways about it. Alcohol is poison. And when you drink, you're poisoning yourself.
Yeah.
So, but we're in this sort of society where you praise someone with poison. And I thought, how weird is that? Like well done, mate. It's a bottle of whiskey. Go home and poison yourself. I feel like death. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that's a very, and it put me in a chain of thought about the whole thing. I thought, God, it's very odd as a society that we do that. Why we don't praise each other with nice gifts, like, here's a spa weekend. Well done. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what's interesting? This reminds me of like a laugh I had with my friend in the past. Won't name a bar, but let's say a busy bar in the city. I remember being in there, and you were probably like 3 deep to get to the bar, right? So you couldn't really go
3 drinks deep or meters.
3 people, in order to get served.
Aye.
And so like it was so rammed.
Yeah.
It was hard to go and buy your drink, but there's no dance floor in this area of the bar either, and it's so busy with people, so people weren't dancing in there. That wasn't like what the area was for. But then the music was so loud that you couldn't speak and have the conversation.
How weird.
So I remember saying to my friend, imagine the aliens came down, right?
Yeah.
What would they make of this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, what are these people doing?
And I should say, like I do enjoy going out for a drink with my mates, but I've never been a massive nightlife kind of lover. But some of it's like, this is weird, like you're saying.
Yeah, I will say if aliens come down, I think the last place to be visiting is like coronavirus or something. I mean, Corova. But you never know.
Steve, I want to ask you what drives you now in your health and fitness journey?
Just progress. Always making progress. I know that I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and then you're probably going to ask me, where is it I want to be? And I'm just waiting for that one to the next one. But I don't even think I've got a final destination, because I think this is just part of my life now. So
there isn't one, right? It's an infinite game. It goes on.
I try and see it as like, I feel like I'm in a car, and I'm going somewhere, but I don't know where. But I'm moving in the right direction all the time. I'm always moving in the car.
Yeah.
And the scenery around me is just the ups and downs and life in general. And it's just going to pass me. But I'm always moving forward with the journey. And there's no destination. So it's just always moving forward. That's the main thing, I think, with myself. And I've sort of come away from... I did feel at this, like at the start of all this, that there was going to be an end. Do you know what I mean? Because I thought, where do I want to be? But I don't think there is, because I'm quite content with how I feel and look now. So anything beyond this is just, a side effect really, which is a great one.
And so you said progress though. What is progress for you then? What does that look like, feel like?
I think progress is just working out and eating healthy. And I mean, I know a lot of people think progress is just, constant upgrades. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not. Progress is just getting up, doing the work, and going to bed happy.
It sounds like it's the journey. The journey is the goal, is something we say a lot.
A journey without a destination. Mm-hmm. But as long as you're moving forward, I think that's the main thing. We're in 5th gear.
Yeah.
And we're going for it.
Was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I just wanted to say, like, I see your progress as well. And I'm excited to see you continue your journey.
I know, it's great, is it?
Yeah.
Couple of things, Stevie. Was there anything that you wanted to sort of touch on that I didn't ask you about?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot of my life there. But no, I just actually want to thank you and thank all the guys for what you do, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I think your business can only get better and bigger. So I'm excited to be part of that as well, because I feel like we're like a good family. Do you know what I mean? I feel part of that family. And it's nice to be part of it. And I love coming here, and as does everybody else. And I always recommend it. And you got loads of new members that I've recommended. And I love the fact they're coming here. Like my barber came. I used to tell him about here every time I got a haircut. Because I would always get on a Saturday, and I'd come in to do the Saturday super circuits. He said, where are you going? I'm going to AKR. And he said, I've been thinking about getting to exercise. I've been trying to run and stuff. And I said, well, just come down. And then he messaged me on Instagram. He says, I'm going to AKR, I've booked in. And he loves it. So, and then loads of other mates as well. And they all love it. So it's brilliant.
Good. Appreciate that, Stevie. Yeah. Last one then. What's one final message that you would like to leave with the listener who might be tuning into this?
If you're struggling just get up and do it. And don't listen too much to the voice within, because take a step back and hear it as a third person and try and learn, and just get up and move.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always tomorrow. So never feel like you're failed if you go to bed and you haven't tried. Just get up and do it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't let it carry on. Because it's like if you fail, it's like moss growing on a stone rolling down a hill, isn't it? It just gets larger and larger. You just stop it there and then.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I'm rambling on a bit. But
No, it sounds like you said that if you're struggling, get up and do it anyway. And in some way, that can sound like almost like a harsh thing. But I think what you're saying is don't get too attached to what your brain's telling you.
Yeah.
Get up and move, and you can change and can feel better.
Yeah.
And when you said there's always tomorrow, that's like move today, but don't feel like you need to tackle this entire obstacle today. Just take a step, right?
Sometimes when I'm struggling to get up and move and do things, it's normally the voice within. It's telling you not to go. And sometimes you just have to treat it like a third person and say, shut up, I'm moving, just keep talking. I'm not listening to you, I'm moving, I'm now doing it, I'm getting up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. I was listening to a book recently, and the guy literally gives his voice and his brain a different name.
Yeah. Because it is a separate entity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a great book called The Power of Now. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. By Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle, yeah.
And he talks about the voice within and how it's not yourself.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's not your pure self. And you can't, the more you treat it like a separate entity or a third person, the more you can handle loads of different situations during your life, because it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can listen to it and almost learn.
And you don't have to believe everything your brain says, right?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's wrong. You're like, you are wrong. La, 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 la.
Great stuff, Stevie. Thanks for coming on, and right back at you. It's been a pleasure to get to know and work with you and have you with us here at AKR. So thanks again. And to the listener, if you've just joined us because you're one of Stevie's pals and you're tuning in, I would encourage you to go back to the very beginning. This is our 39th episode, and we've got a whole catalogue of episodes that build on one another. So go back, listen through them. And if you want to know more about AKR, it's akrfitness.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.